All right, we're given a vertex and a point, and we're to create an equation in standard form or in equation in standard form. All right, so every one of these you kind of have to be careful with. They're going to give you a vertex and a point. So when they give you this, you need to know the vertex form. All right, the vertex, they really label these. They don't label the vertex. They label the vertex, and I'm going to try to label it H and K. All right, so the point is X and Y. And so that's how they label those. All right, so notice we have an A in our formula and we don't have an A. So we're going to find A first. That's the first thing we do is find A. That looks a little too close. I want to write it a little bit bigger so you can see it. Find A. That's the first thing we're going to do. All right, so I'm going to just plug in my data points. Everything that's here, I'm just going to plug in. So f of x is the same thing as y. It's the exact same thing. So y on my point is 0. My a we do not know. X is in the point, it's 3. H is 4. We're going to square it, and our k, which is in the vertex, is 2. Alright, so we're going to simplify. We're just going to solve for a. So 0 equals a, and 3 minus 4 is a negative 1, and we're going to square that, plus 2. So a negative 1 times a negative 1 is 1. So 0 equals a times 1 plus 2, which really is 1a plus 2. Subtract 2 to both sides, and then a equals negative 2. Now, so a equals a negative 2. Now I'm going to go back into our original vertex equation. And that's this right here, and we're going to plug this in again. This time we're plugging everything in except for x and y, because whenever you have an equation, you always have an x and y in it. So we're going to plug everything in except for x and y. So we're not going to plug the point in, we're just going to plug the vertex in, and we're going to plug the a in. So here we go. So we got y equals, and our a is negative 2. Our, oh, I didn't put a minus between those two, sorry. Or I did, it didn't come out. Alright, so then we got x, because we're not plugging in the x, remember. Our h is 4, and our k, and we're going to square that, and our k is 2. Now this is in the vertex form right here. This is a vertex form answer. So if they ask you to write it in vertex form, there it is. Now if they want you to solve it, that's what we're going to do now. So we're going to solve this. I'm going to change it over to the other page, so hold on. Okay, so in this is the, like I said, the vertex form. Alright, so now, and the vertex form, this right here is when we start talking about, and I think it's like the next video that I do, we talk transformation, how it shifts to the left, the right, up, down, more steep, less steep, or compressed, compressed, stretched. All this comes from here. I mean, all this right here flips on the x-axis, otherwise becomes a happy face instead of a frowny face, or a frowny face opens up, opens down, all that stuff comes from here. Alright, so I'm going to simplify this. All I'm doing is to solve this. So here we go, y equals a negative 2. We've got to do the x minus 4 first. Now here's where everybody messes up. Everybody thinks that they can just distribute the 2 here and say, oh, it's x squared minus 16. And that's wrong, because you can't do that. This is a binomial. You cannot do that on a binomial. Now on a monomial like this, yes, you could do that. You could distribute the 2 to here and get 4 square x and say 16x squared. But this is a binomial. That means you're going to have to write it out twice. It will not work if you do it this way. So this will not work. So here we go. If you have x minus 4 and you have a square, that means you got to write it twice. All right, so I multiply that to that, you get x squared. Multiply that to that, minus 4x. Multiply this to this, get negative 4x. This to this, I get plus 16. Combine my like terms, and I get a negative 8x plus 16. See how these two guys are the exact same family members? And we can put them together and get our answer. So this is what goes here. All right, now this is also important. You have to distribute first. So I'm going to distribute this 2 to everything inside the parentheses. So it's going to be y equals a negative 2x squared. It's going to be a plus 16x. This is going to be a minus 32, and then we have a plus 2 at the end. Now this little cloud here that I'm creating are the last two things that we have to do because they're both the same term. So we just simplify. And minus 32 plus 2 is going to be a minus 30. Now this is in standard form. This is the quadratic standard form. And by looking at this, you should be able to tell me what's happening to this thing. You should be able to say by looking here in front of this number x squared that is a frowny face. It's negative. It's going down. Okay. We also know that it's more steep, or it's narrow, thinner. So otherwise it's like thin, like this. All right, we also know that the y-intercept's at 30, so we know that it's touching on the y-axis at negative 30. Okay, so we know this. We know somewhere it's touching you this way or somehow it's touching it.